Aloha! I'm gonna tell you the story of my family of origin. First, we start with Jean-Marie, my father. He was born on August 15th, 1943. The sun in Leo at 21 degrees. And the moon just before the exact full moon in Aquarius at 16 degrees. And is Mercury at 15 degree Virgo. It's stuck in the middle. Venus 20 degrees Virgo. Is Mars at 25 degree Taurus. Very close to a square. Not precise, but close enough. Jupiter at 10 degrees Leo. A whole lot of Leo. And Saturn 4 degrees Gemini. And Uranus at 8 degrees Gemini. Very contrasting planets, restrictions and excitement together in the twin sign. And Neptune just got into Libra at 0 degree. And Pluto, part of the baby boom generation, Pluto in Leo at 7 degrees. And Chiron at 2 degree Virgo. And his nodes are 16 degree Leo, and 16 degree Aquarius is the south node right by the moon. So we see here some eclipsing lunar eclipsing chart, but just before the precise eclipse. You see this almost precise sun moon just before the eclipse. His ascendant is at 6 degrees Virgo. Ascendant in Pisces, 6 degrees. His midheaven is up at 1 degree Gemini, Imam Kweli, down at 1 degree Sagittarius. That's the way his boat floats. So in his first house, he has Mercury, Venus, and Neptune later on. So make sure he's the one who talks first and has a feminine side to that too. And in the sign of criticism, Virgo, is Chiron, very close to his ascendant, tends to be wounded in the healing in his 12th house, as so is his sun, Jupiter, Pluto, North Node in the 12th house. So he kind of keeps those to himself. He's a hero in Leo, but it's all inside. He only keeps it to his close circle of the 12th house. His moon in the 6th house, to go along with the Virgo planets. And up in the 10th house, he's got the the Saturn and Uranus twins there. Keeps that for business. And his Mars in the 9th house, escaping moves, but solid moves in Taurus. And across the street from Jean-Marie's house, which was very busy since he was the 12th child in a family of 16 children, so 18 with the parents. Across that street moved in this pretty girl, Monique, who came in as a teenage girl when Jean-Marie was a teenager. Monique was born on May 27th. At 4 degree Gemini, a year after Jean-Marie. Her moon was in Leo, at 12 degrees. Goes to straight opposition with Jean-Marie's moon. Her Mercury at 11 degree Taurus. Her Venus at 27 degree Taurus. And by Jean-Marie's Mars. Her Mars at 2 degree Leo. Her Jupiter at 19 degree Leo. Crowded. Her Saturn at 26 degree Gemini. Her Uranus at 8 degree Gemini. Makes her a genius. Her Neptune also at the very beginning of Libra, 1 degree. Her Pluto at 7 degree, same as Gemini. Leo, 4 planets in Leo, and her Chiron at 9 degree of Virgo. And her nodes at 29 degree Gemini, sorry, not Gemini, 29 degree Cancer, sorry, up here, and 29 degree Capricorn. And her ascendant is at 20 degree Libra. And descendant down at 20 degree Aries. Her midheaven up at 25 degree Cancer, and Rimanquili 25 degree of Capricorn. The way her boat floats. So no first house, no impulsivity, nothing there, busy, nothing going on, nothing down at the bottom of the sky except the south node. So all of her 6 houses of the bottom of the sky under the boat are not occupied by any of her planets. Everything is up in obvious, up in the sky. In the daytime, in the afternoon, when the sun was in the 8th house, her 7th house is the first house that gets busy with Mercury. Then her 8th house, Venus and Sun, Uranus, and Saturn. So, and in the 10th house, she also has some notoriety with her, that's where she's gonna wind up to, with her North Node up there, and all those planets in Leo, Mars, Pluto, Moon, and Jupiter. Jupiter probably more in the 11th house, and Chiron in Virgo. As for Neptune in the 12th house goes well in Libra. A sign of music and harmony. And then we'll tell you the rest of the story later. It was an event that caused separation between Jean-Marie and Monique, and this is the first part of the video. And now we have André. André was born on a date that maybe I shouldn't mention if I don't want to get censored, but you might understand if you know your astrology, which is at 18-degree Virgo. So when the sun is going there, it's September, and his moon is in Scorpio at 14 degrees, right in the middle. And his Mercury is at 2-degree Virgo. And his Venus is at 14 degrees Leo. His Mars is at 2 degrees Cancer. His Jupiter is at 3-degree Libra. You must have enjoyed music. And 22-degree Cancer for Saturn. Uranus at 17 degrees of Cancer, of Gemini, sorry, 17 degrees Gemini, Uranus. Neptune at 5 degrees Libra. A lot of illusions are spiritual incline, a whole lot multiplied with Jupiter. And Pluto at 11 degrees Leo. And Chiron at 6 degrees Libra. Still I'm here. Is it 3, 5, and 6 degrees? 3, 5, 6 degrees. Libra. And the nodes in Cancer. 6 degrees Cancer. North node. South node, 6 degree Capricorn. Always in oppositions. Mars close to the North node. Winds up fighting at home in the sign of Cancer. Saturn there too, not so easy. And those planets squaring perpendicular to the north node, south node axis. His ascendant at 20° Scorpio. Descendant at 20° Gemini. Midheaven at 5° Gemini. And 5° Pisces for the Imam Kweli. Sun and Moon goes well along, but with Saturn, the sextiles, and so do the outer planets, with close Uranus and Jupiter, Neptune, Chiron, and with Pluto. So it's ascendant. Turn this chart this way. That's the way his boat floats. You got his sun, the mid-heaven up here. His 10th house is where his sun is, and Mercury in his 9th house. He's got this mid-heaven and ascendant are more squeezed in. Sometimes the skies don't match my boat idea. But his moon in the 12th house, his Jupiter, Neptune, Chiron in the 11th, and Uranus in the 7th house. In the 8th house has Mars and Saturn. His 8th house goes well with his ascendant in Scorpio and the moon in Scorpio. And his ruler is Pluto, and Mars is also the ruler of Scorpio, kind of. And his Pluto is close to his Venus. So there is a bit of harsh intention on the feminine side. When Pluto gets awakened, there's a little feminine to it. And like Manik, all of the planets are up in the sky. So let's put Manik with Andre. Your sun at 4° Gemini. Her moon at 14° Leo. 12° Leo, sorry. 12° Leo. Her Mercury at 11 degrees Taurus. Her Venus at 27 degrees Taurus. Her Mars at 2 degree Leo. Her Jupiter at 3 degree, no, sorry, 19 degree Leo. Her Saturn at 26 degree Gemini. Her Uranus at 8 degree Gemini. Her Neptune at 1 degree Libra. Her Pluto at 6 degree Leo. Yeah. Her Mars and Chiron, her Chiron at 6 degree Libra, or 9 degree Virgo, sorry. 9 degree Virgo. And her nodes 29 degree Cancer and 29 degree Capricorn. Her ascendant at 20 degree Libra. And descendant 20 degree Aries. Midheaven at 25 degrees Cancer. Imam Kuali 25 degree Capricorn. Oops. And then they got married. Like that. And they get married. The ascendant is here. In Leo. And the descendant in Aquarius. The sun was just before sunset in the 7th house. And the moon, Mercury and Venus were together in Capricorn. And then they present the opposition between Uranus, Pluto, and Chiron, Saturn. This opposition, you see with Chiron. And Mars in Virgo, all those planets in Taurus, and in the 2nd house, in the sign of Virgo. Close to where Andre has his sun, And also Monique, her Chiron, close in opposition of her Chiron. And Jupiter was in Taurus, right between Monique's Mercury and Venus. And Neptune was close to Andre's moon and his ascendant. So, which was in Andre's 12th house. You can see Andre's boat here on his ascendant. That's where Neptune was, very close to his ascendant in the 12th house. And the fourth house, his fourth house, was Saturn and Chiron on the wedding day. In his 10th house, Uranus and Pluto. And Mars more so in his 11th house. And the North Node in Gemini, close to Monique Saturn. So Monique eventually, first she had children. She had Sylvain. Sylvain came along. After the wedding. With his son in Leo. The ascendant of the marriage was in Leo. So Sylvain was born right stack in the middle of Leo, 15 degrees Leo. The Setu, August 7th of 1965. With his moon in Sagittarius at 29 degrees, the very end, a bit before, far enough before the full moon. Mercury at 28 degree Leo, close to Regulus, the ruling star. Is Venus at 16 degrees Virgo. Close to his dad's sun. His Mars at 22 degree Libra. Right by his mom's ascendant in her first house. First child, no, not the first child. Sorry, spoiling the story here. But, first child of this wedding is Jupiter at 23 degree Gemini, right by his mom Saturn. So where she says stop, he says go, go, go. And his Saturn is at 13 degree, 15 degree Pisces. Right in the middle. Straight opposition to his Venus. But not alone. You get his Pluto at 15 degree of Virgo, opposite is Saturn and conjunct is Venus. His Uranus at 13 degree Virgo. I skipped ahead. His Uranus first, usually 13 and 15 and 14 for Venus, 16 for Venus. 13, 15, 16 degrees. Opposite Saturn at 15 degrees. And his Chiron is at 21 degree Pisces. So part of the same picture here. 21 degree Pisces. Well, I skipped again. I'm eager to get it on. Neptune at 17 degree Scorpio. And by his dad's moon. His nodes at 12 degree Gemini. And 12 degree Sagittarius, the south node. North node, south node. Where he comes from, where he's going. Gonna wind up with mom's great ideas, her genius. And his ascendant. Is in Taurus. 3 degree Taurus. Ascendant 3 degree Scorpio. Midheaven up in Capricorn, 16 degrees. Imam Kweli at 9 degree Cancer. Alright. That's the way his boat floats. In Taurus, a sign of taking things slowly, touching the earth, material. So he doesn't have anything in his first house. Jupiter in the second house. The second house is the Taurus house. So that's another Taurasian thing for Sylvain. Taurian. How do you say that? And his in the fifth house being a Leo. Leo is here. In his fifth house, he has that stellium of Venus, Pluto, and Uranus together. Opposite in his 11th house here in Pisces, as we saw earlier, Saturn straight opposite all that, and Chiron a little further in his 11th house. His moon in Sagittarius is in the cusp of his 8th house to 9th house, somewhere up there. Probably more so in his 9th house, since his midheaven is up this close to the moon. This chart is more squeezed in like that. Not always perpendicular. the ascendant-descendant axis and midheaven tranquilly, like I show on my boat. Show perpendicular idea, but it's a little harder to squeeze in. In his seventh house, which, he loves to play music. His Mars, his physical action, is in Libra, but he also has in his seventh house, he has Neptune, which is in Scorpio, but in the house of the Libra. His sun is down here, close to cusp between. He's got a broader part of the sky here between his Imam Kuali and descendant. So his sun is between the cusp of the fourth house and the fifth house. The fifth house is the house of the Leo. And then the Gemini influence calls in another brother, Patrick. Patrick was born on the first degree of Aquarius on January 21st, 67, with the moon in Gemini, 3-degree Gemini, read by his mom's sun. His Mercury is at 3-degree Aquarius, read by his sun. Makes intelligent people, especially the Aquarius. They know everything. Venus at 18 degrees Aquarius. Patrick's Mars is in Libra at 23 degrees. Sylvain is at 23 and Patrick is... Oh, Sylvain is at 22 and Patrick is at 23-degree Libra. That's where we get the two brothers, two Mars together. And his Jupiter is at 29-degree Cancer, very close to his mom's North Node, and Mars very close to the Leo, but in Cancer, the home sign. Saturn is at 25-degree Gemini. 25-degree Pisces. Goes to his brother's Chiron. His Uranus is at 24-degree Virgo. Between his dad's Sun and his Jupiter, Neptune, and Chiron together. And again, oppositing Saturn. So that opposition lasted a few years between Saturn and Uranus. His Neptune is at 24 degrees Scorpio. And his dad's first house. And his Pluto at 20 degree Virgo. Also has that Pluto-Uranus, but more like 20 degrees, ouch, which is by his dad's sun. Pluto by his dad's sun. Mercury, Chiron by Saturn again. Those guys moved together for a while. His Chiron is at 22 degree Pisces by his brother Sylvain. And his north nodes are in Taurus. So he's asking north node in Taurus at 12 degrees. And south node 12 degrees. Comes from his dad's emotions, but goes towards his mom's. Winds up more towards his mom's communication, her words. He also asks, winding up there, because he's asking for it, him too, with a first degree of Taurus as an ascendant, and first degree of Scorpio as a descendant. And his midheaven is up at 15 degrees Capricorn, just like his brother Sylvain. So it's kind of the twin in ascendant, twin in Mars, and they have that Jupiter, his moon, his brother's Jupiter in Gemini, and they're in opposite signs, their suns. Leo for Sylvain, Aquarius for Patrick, which is a good seesaw motion between the twins. And they also share all the outer planets, the opposition of the famous opposition of Saturn-Chiron to Uranus-Pluto, but he doesn't put the love in it like Sylvain does. And his boat floats, this way. And him too, his midheaven is more angled to his ascendant. Midheaven up here, ascendant over here, ascendant, descendant. And he puts his sun up in the 10th house. And his Mercury, his 11th house, is more occupied by Venus. And there's Saturn-Chiron is probably in the cusp between the 11th to 12th house. And his moon is in the 2nd house, going along with the principle of the Taurus, his ascendant, and his north node And his Jupiter is in his 4th house in Cancer. I mean, in his 4th house, yeah. In Cancer. So that's a double whammer for the Jupiter, is being at a home, loving the family, nurturing. So here's the family that didn't last long with the dad. The parents divorced, and the dad lived away, not too far, but didn't live with his children anymore. So that's the end of this part. So after divorcing André, Monique goes back with Jean-Marie, bringing her 2 sons, Patrick and Sylvain, along. And you can see the new family joining together. Looks a little bit busier now. 2 sons for Jean-Marie, which he didn't expect so soon, but was longing. The one, I'll tell you later. Anyway, so it was good to have children for Jean-Marie, but not so easy. On his ascendant, he has where he has his Venus and Mercury. He also has Sylvain's Venus there, but you know how Sylvain treats his Venus, with Pluto and Uranus opposite his Chiron and Saturn. And with Patrick too, he has that Pluto up there on Jean-Marie's Venus. Not so easy, but that's how it is. Can't choose people's planets so well. And also he has a Leo sun, Jean-Marie, a week before his birthday. And an Aquarian sun. Jean-Marie has his moon and south node here. His moon is by Patrick's Venus, so they get along well in some ways. And also Jean-Marie's Mars is in the boy's 1st house in Taurus. Alright, now another baby comes in the picture. Luc was born on the 10th of the 10th, 71, at 16-degree Libra. 16-degree Libra is his sun, right in the middle of Libra, close to his 2 brothers Mars. His moon in Cancer. Born with a moon in Cancer. 11 degrees. 18-degree Libra is his Mercury. His Venus, the ruling planet of Venus, of Libra, is in Libra also at the very end at 28 degrees. Lux Mars is at 17 degree Aquarius, right where his brother Patrick's Venus and his dad's moon are, and south node of Jean-Marie. Lux Jupiter is at 4 degrees Sagittarius, the sign that Jupiter rules. 4 degree right there. His Saturn is at 6 degree Gemini. Saturn, Jupiter opposition, 6 degree Gemini. Close to Jean-Marie's Saturn. Any room here without moving the other magnets. Straight opposition Jupiter Saturn, and his dad's Saturn to his Jupiter, but same Jupiter, same Saturn as dad. His Uranus is at 14 degrees Libra, right by his sun, just like his mom, in air signs. They're not quite up to a trine, but good enough, especially with mom's ascendant in Libra. Lux Neptune is at 1 degree Sagittarius, right by his Jupiter. So he multiplies his beliefs, his illusion, and escape sign of Sagittarius. And Pluto at 0 degree Libra. So with his Pluto, he kind of destroys his parents' beliefs system, his Neptune, their Neptunes, I should say, with his Pluto. His Chiron is at 11 degree Aries. His nodes are 12 degree Aquarius is the North Node. Close to his South Node, winds up fighting. And his South Node is at 12 degree. Any room there? Leo, by his mom's moon. And that's Jupiter and Mars. That union, that's where he came from, that's where he's going towards fighting the people in Aquarius. Lux Ascendant is at 12 degree Capricorn. 12 degree Capricorn over here. Descendant 12 degree Cancer. He's got his moon on the descendant, and his midheaven up at 10 degree Leo. Where his business is in the degree of, in the sign of acquiring things. Degrees at 10 degrees. Mam Kweli down here. So that's the way his boat floats for Luc. long way around. So that's Luke's ascendant up here, but the midheaven way up here. So him too, his sky is very askew, which makes between his ascendant, oh no, his midheaven is here, sorry. His sky is more like that, ascendant, midheaven. So that the two axes, that's the axis of ascendant and the axis of the midheaven, Imam Kuali, are very tight, like 60 degrees or so. Yeah, pretty close, 60 degrees, I would say. So it gives him a very broad first house and puts his Mars in the first house. His Chiron down here in the third house. His moon right on the descendant. South node. So up in his ninth house. So his flag should be here, 10th house, midheaven. So in his ninth house, he's got his Sun, Venus, Mercury, Uranus. Ninth house, Pluto, probably more so in the 8th house. We were looking at it on the website, astro.com. We would see more precision. But it's a good hint that they're all in the ninth house, the sign of the house of Sagittarius, escape route, which is also enlightened by Jupiter, who rules Sagittarius, and Neptune. Mutable signs, mutable house. And in Gemini, like I said, the mutable signs got Saturn there, adding to his dad's mom's sign of Saturn. And nothing in Virgo or Pisces. Pluto just escaped Pisces after 14 or so years in Virgo. And then, after Luke, a bit less than 2 years after Luke, I came along the picture. So my sun came at 4 degree Leo the morning after the release of Enter Dragon, which starred Bruce Lee, who died a week before I was born. The moon in Cancer, just like Luke's moon. The sun in Leo, like my dad and my brother Sylvain. My sun lined up with my parents' Plutos. My mom's Mars. Close to my mom's moon. Close to my brother Patrick's Jupiter. So, family is strong for me here. And my Mercury by my brother Patrick's Jupiter in Cancer. My Venus by my dad's ascendant at 3 degree Virgo. My Mars opposite my two brothers' Mars at 22 degree of Aries, the sign that Mars rules. My two older brothers in this part of the family. And my Jupiter in Aquarius, 7 degrees, 3 degrees away from a perfect opposition. between my brother Patrick's Sun and Mercury and his Venus, and by my dad's Moon, South Node, by my brother Luke's Mars and North Node. So it might be a reason why I angered him in some ways. My Saturn, very last degree of Gemini, just like my mom's, by my mom's, close to my Moon. Moon at 5 degrees, Saturn 29 degrees, 6 degrees away. My Uranus joined the Libran revolution with Uranus at 19 degree. By my brother Luke's Uranus, his Sun, and right on his Mercury. My Neptune, by my brother Luke's Neptune, because it was just a year and 9 months later. Neptune didn't travel very far, but right stack on his Jupiter. My Pluto at 2 degree Libra, doing like my brother Luke and destroying my parents' beliefs. Our Plutos, like many people born alive today, have that. Their Pluto is on their parents' Neptunes. It happened a whole lot in history in the last 40 years or so. I guess because Neptune and Pluto are pretty much in the same angle, like 60 degrees or so apart from one another. Chiron is right by my Mars and opposite my Uranus. So you see the Uranus-Chiron opposition went on from my brother Sylvain's birth and probably long before that too, and past my birth too, up to into the Taurus, Scorpio, and so on. So that opposition of those two planets is there's a long generation of those people. My North Node, South Node. South Node by my Moon at 7 degree Cancer. My North Node in Capricorn. So I start off comfortably cool in Cancer, a sign of nurture and home, and I wind up uncomfortably away from the Moon in Capricorn a lot. My ascendant at 29 degrees or 28 degrees of Libra. Right here, right, my brother Luke's Venus, and my descendant in Aries. So my ascendant-descendant axis is a straight opposite to my brother Patrick and Sylvain's ascendant-descendant axis. My midheaven is up at 7 degree Leo. Oops. Fit the sun there. And my mom and dad's Pluto by my sun. All my planets here. My stellium are in my 9th house. We'll see that with my boat in a second. And my Jupiter is right on my Imam Kueli in Aquarius, the bottom of the sky, the beginning of my 4th house. So that's the way my boat floats at 29 degree Libra, standing at the edge of danger, open to the enemy. Midheaven is more like here, midheaven Imam Kueli. So my Sun Jupiter My sun is up in the mid-heaven, but in the ninth house. So my escapism comes from all those planets in my ninth house, help with my Neptune in Sagittarius being in the perfect trine to my sun. I have a square though by my ascendant descendant axis, T-square, involving, see it here, Uranus, Chiron, Mars, and Mercury in Cancer, T-square. And sextile going on between the Sun, Pluto, Neptune, and Jupiter, and two missing legs here of the grand sextile in Gemini and Aries in the early degrees. And also my Venus in Virgo and my moon. So I made that video about the Scorpio, which square my sun Jupiter opposition. So we got Scorpio squaring that, and Taurus. So my mom's Mercury kind of squares my sun a little bit, and so does her own Mars and Pluto. But you see the sextile and trine to Scorpio and trine to Taurus is the trine of Venus, and sextile of Cancer to Taurus. So those degrees which are squared to my sun, they're eased up by my two planets here giving a trine and sextile to ease the strain, to help the balance that I'm looking for, but winding up in radical concept of Capricorn. And I thought I was the last, well, I was the last one born, but I thought that the family was it. For a long time when I grew up, I knew my brothers Sylvain and Patrick had a different dad, and I thought my three brothers were my family up until my teenage years, where my dad told me about a sister I have. Her name is Lynn, and she was born before my parents got back together, away from my dad. I never lived with my dad or any of us in our circle here, but still alive and well. So Lynn, her sun, is at 16 degrees Taurus, right in the middle, square my dad's sun and moon, and also my own mom's moon. So, a different mom. And even lived in a different country, neighbor country, but came to visit the rest of the family in the same hometown we grew up in. So her moon, Lynn's moon, is at 27 degree Cancer. Another moon in Cancer. Born with a moon in Cancer. By my brother Jupiter, Patrick's Jupiter, my Mercury, close to my sun in Leo. Her Mercury is at 19 degree Aries, close to where my Mars, Chiron are, opposite my Uranus and square to my Mercury. Maybe one reason why we don't communicate much. I don't know much of her. (22° Taurus is her Venus, close to my mom's Venus, but not her own. I don't know about her mom's chart though. By my dad's Mars in Taurus. Lynn's Mars is at 10° Virgo. Joining the big Virgo stellium in our family. Her Jupiter is 3° Gemini. Yeah, 3° Gemini. So she was born about the same year as Patrick. 3° Gemini. Oh, where's Patrick's? Oh, it's Sylvain that has his Jupiter there. Patrick's Jupiter, sorry, is in Cancer. So she was born between or before Sylvain. Yep. Jupiter at 23°. No, at 3° Gemini. 3° Gemini. Right here. For Saturn at 15° Pisces. And she also has a Uranus opposition to Saturn going on, with Uranus in Virgo at 10° Virgo, precisely lined up with her Mars, opposite. And we can see that opposition, Mars to Saturn, Mars Uranus to Saturn, Virgo to Pisces, and Lynn's Neptune is at 18° Scorpio. And her Pluto is at 13° Virgo, so a little bit past her Mars. In a straighter opposition than Uranus and Mars to her Saturn. Not quite precise, but strong enough. Those years were hard for that in the mid-60s. And her Chiron is at 21° Pisces, giving a hint to Saturn to hold on, just like Sylvain and Patrick there, hold on to the opposition across to Uranus and Pluto. So that's a generation to take notes about, the mid-60s generation, and having that with a trine to Neptune, and also a sextile on this side to Neptune, and a trine to Saturn-Chiron on this side. So that generation is particular like that, about making a mess, being super helpful in a genius way, like more than helpful than you can, and there's also like injuries in the process, but somehow going well with the beliefs of Neptune. So Lin, her north nodes and south node are in Gemini. North node 14 degree Gemini, and south node down here, nodes up there, and her ascendant, Lin's ascendant is in Libra, but at 2 degree Libra, where I have my Pluto. Probably another reason why somehow I don't have a strong relationship with her. Her midheaven is up at 2 degree Cancer. So she has a very perpendicular boat, and Imam Kueli down here. Ascendant, descendant axis is very perpendicular to her midheaven Imam Kueli axis, like we see here. So here is Lin added to our family, and you can see that my dad, his daughter that he never lived with, how on his first house he has her Mars, Uranus, Pluto, which the Uranus Pluto gives a tricky, slippery slope to Mars. Probably why her body wasn't close to him, to where he was going, where he's going, his ascendant. And on his 7th house, his relationship with her, Uranus-Chiron. There's a wound here that needs to be evened out. The relationship house of the 7th house. My dad's 7th house. So his ascendant, descendant here, 7th house, and her Lin's ascendant is this way, ascendant, descendant. So she puts her sun in the 8th house too. So there's a way for her to destroy her own self-destroy with the 8th house. Like my mom, she has her sun in the 8th house. Not necessarily self-destructive, but they go through inner phases that somehow they don't share with other people, but it's a regenerative state. And my daughter also has that. So the three of the main ladies in my family, my daughter, my sister, and my mom, have their sun in the 8th house. And her Venus too. Probably her Jupiter in there, in the 8th house, 8th to 9th house cusp maybe. Her Neptune in her 2nd house, like me, I have my Neptune in my 2nd house. And in her 12th house, is where she has her Mars, Uranus, Pluto opposite her Chiron and Saturn in her 6th house. 12 to 6 house, that's where she keeps that opposition. She kind of keep him secretive here. Her body, her genius, and the way she destroys things, and puts her Saturn to work in the 6th house to service, and Chiron together. Her moon in her 10th house. So that's the way her boat floats. And it wasn't it. I didn't just have a sister that I never met. I also had a brother that I never met. At this point in my late teenage years, I met my brother Sylvain Pouliot. And Sylvain was already married. He came with his wife and his new baby. Baby was about a year old when they came along, when we met them. So we never knew Sylvain as a single individual. We've always known him as a dad and family guy. So I call him Sylvain. It's a bit confusing, but yes. I have 2 brothers named Sylvain. How confusing can that be? So what happened was when my parents were together in the early times, they were expecting a baby. And then my dad was away in the military. And when my mom gave birth, her dad didn't like the story. So he changed the course of history by having my mom give her child away at birth. He forced my mom to do so. And my mom was young enough, in her late teen years, 19 years old I think she was, because it's pretty much before her birthday, that another little Gemini man was born 10 years before me. And his adoptive parents were choosing the name Sylvain to name him. My mom didn't choose that name yet to name her first son, because that baby was taken away at birth, so she lost all contact with him at birth. And he's on the cusp of Gemini Taurus, but he's got a good lean for the Taurus side with his moon at 19 degrees Taurus. Is Sylvain, and I'm gonna call him Sylvain Pouliot. And my first Sylvain brother is from a different dad, Sylvain Mera. And my brother Lynn is Fontaine. And me, Montagne. So we have 4 different names, 4 different last names between us brothers and sisters. So his Mercury, Sylvain Pouliot's Mercury, is at 24 degrees Taurus, between his sun and moon. Is there any room here? Getting crowded. And his Venus, Sylvain Pouliot's Venus at 4 degree Taurus, by his brothers Patrick and Sylvain's ascendant, because they all have the same mom, and I have the same dad. Same mom, same dad, different last name. with me. So his Mars is at 24° Leo, close to his dad's sun, mom's moon, and brother Sylvain Pouliot, Sylvain Mera, is Mercury. And his Saturn at 23° Aquarius. Oh no, sorry. His Jupiter at 10° Aries. Jupiter at 10° Aries, right where Chiron is. His Saturn at 23° Aquarius. Close to Patrick's Venus, Lux, Mars. And opposite to his Mars, Sylvain Pouliot's Mars opposite to his own Saturn, and Luc's Mars. So Mars to Mars opposition, just like me, Mars to Mars opposition with my older brother Patrick and Sylvain. Sylvain Pouliot's Uranus is at 1° Virgo, where I have my Venus. So there was a wound with my dad at his birth. No, that was caused by Uranus. Surprising fact. And his Neptune also in Scorpio, like those of that generation. His is at 13 degrees, right by Linz and Sylvain, the other Sylvain, two Sylvain's Neptunes. So it's another reason to have that Gemini concept in our family. Two boys of the same name, and Sylvain Mera, which was the eldest son before, was replaced by an older Sylvain, who now became the oldest one in the family, oldest brother. His Pluto is at 9° Virgo. And is Chiron at 14° Pisces. So he's got that Uranus Pluto generation starting up. That's in 1963. Uranus is joining up to Pluto and starting the opposition with Chiron, but Saturn is a little faster and is eventually going to catch up, like we see here, to Chiron, to opposite Uranus and Pluto in Virgo. And Sylvain Pouliot's nodes are in Cancer, 21° Cancer, winds up in family, coming from Capricorn. So opposite North Node, South Node to me. It's this way it should go. In the same sign, in Cancer, Capricorn. So I'm from the family and I wind up in business, Capricorn, government, whatever, the concept of Capricorn. As for my brother Sylvain, he started off in the hospital, in the foster care system, and winds up in the big family, all surrounded. His ascendant and descendant, 12° Gemini, So not only he is a Gemini, but he wants to be a Gemini. No other way around. And his descendant, 12 degree Sagittarius. There's no room up there. Anyway. Midheaven. Namqueli midheaven up at 13 degree of Aquarius. And Imam Kweli at 13 degree. So his home winds up to be where his mom's Jupiter is, in Leo. His fourth house is Imam Kweli. Is the ballast of his boat. Huh? Can that be? Wow, this guy is very squeezed, almost to a sextile or what, between his ascendant. Yeah, sextile here. Between his descendant axis and his Imam Kuali to midheaven axis. Like train sextile 120 degrees, 60 degrees this way. So a very squeezed boat. That's where his boat floats in Gemini, but the concept doesn't work really well with the axis, the two axes being so squeezed. But let's try to look at it, maybe with this one. So between his ascendant and Imam Kuali is the first, second, and third house. Doesn't have any planets there. In Imam Kuali, fourth house, he has his Mars there, which is in Leo. And he probably has a very wide fourth house, very big family, space for the family. So he's got Pluto in there also, which, you know, is marked at birth of being somehow transform his home from the beginning. Mars, Uranus, and Pluto in its fourth house, and his Neptune in his sixth house, and his Saturn, where's his midheaven? No, really. The midheaven is here. Kuali. So his Saturn is in his 10th house, which goes along well. And Chiron, he's been working all his life for the people in the same printing mill. Is he retired already? Or just about to? You know, he's given his whole life to that printing house. Most of it was night living, working at night for most of his adulthood. That's where Sylvain was at night. Sylvain Pouliot for most of his nights was at work. His sun, moon, and Mercury are in his 12th house, and Venus too, probably. His Jupiter in Aries is in his 11th house. So this is how crowded it gets with how many people we got now? 7? No. Forgot the count. 5, 6 people? Yep. So that's our family. My story from my origin. And of course there must be some between my sister's sun and her moon. There's a good quintile here, and between my sun and my brother Luke's sun, there's a quintile. And the third leg of that quintile is up with my brother my brother Sylvain Méran's moon, and Sylvain Pouliot's-Chiron maybe, and my dad's Mars. Anyway, makes a lot to think about. Makes a lot going on. Any squares? All those Taurus planets, Taurus people. Square the Leo, the Gemini. Square the Virgo. And the Sagittarius up there. And square the Pisces. There's always a square somewhere between the Cancer, Aries, Libra, Capricorn. That's how we clash, that's how we fit. Much trains. Trains all over the place. Somewhat in the air signs. Trains in the air sign. Patrick's sun, the Neptune, Pluto, my sister's ascendant. My mom's sun, my brother's moon. Patrick's got a perfect trine, sun, moon. Close to Uranus. Sun, moon, Uranus, like my sun axis has. But these are in air sign, as opposed to fire sign for my sun. And so on, and so on. And the meeting... Hold on, I gotta make a chart for that. I'll be right back. When I met my brother, who was coming over to my parents' house, I was talking to one of my best friends on the phone, and he's asking me, "Hey, what you doing?" "So, I'm just about to meet my new brother I never met before." "Oh, yeah, stop kidding me." "Yeah, I'm telling you, I never met my brother here. He's new. I've just heard about him, and now I'm meeting him." So that's how it went. So that day was, I don't have the date here, but it was 11 degree Sagittarius, which must have been around December 1st, December 2nd, or something like that. 11 degrees Sagittarius, somewhere here. That was the day. On my brother Sylvain's in his 6th house, close to his 7th house. So the relationship here, that's where the sun, well, the sun goes there once a year, no big deal. And the moon was at 13 degree Scorpio. The moon was pretty much where his Neptune is. When the moon, it's in the 5th house here. Is that a moon or not? Does that look like a moon to you? It's the moon I can make without pulling my pants down. So fast. And Mercury at 22 degrees Sagittarius. Mercury with 2 horns, looks like Venus. and with horns. Not in drags, but with horns. Venus at 27 degree Libra. 27 degree Libra is an important degree. It's over here. For my brother Luke, that's where his Venus is. And my ascendant, close to my mom's ascendant in her first house. That's where Venus was on the day that we met. My parents met Sylvain for the first time. And Mars at that moment was at 3 degrees Sagittarius, right on my Neptune. Mars here, what? And my Neptune looks Neptune. So for Luke, it was more significant maybe with the Mars Venus going on that day, somewhat. And Jupiter at 13 degree Virgo. Jupiter right here at 13 degree Virgo on Sylvain Pouliot's Pluto and Jean-Marie's Mercury, close to his Venus. I know that's Sylvain Mirand's Venus. But see the alignment here. And Saturn at 3 degree Aquarius. Saturn was here on that meeting day, the day we met my brother for the first time. 12 degree Capricorn was Uranus. Not mine, yours. Oh, Uranus. So it looks a bit like 2 butt cheeks and Uranus. I shouldn't make fun with that god, but can't help it. Gotta put a little humor in astrology. Come on, it gets a little boring after a while. How long has this video been going? 15 degree Capricorn was Neptune. Neptune also has an anus, but got forks, so defending its anus. Don't come near. Should I make fun of those planets? I'm gonna get penalized one day by Uranus. 21 degree Scorpio was Pluto. When Pluto was ruling its sign, it rules Scorpio in the 90s, 80s, 90s. You should check out my video about the Scorpio generation. You'll see how long it was. Chiron was at 9 degree Leo. Chiron at 9 degree Leo. Let me fit Chiron in this picture. So the wounded healer was on close to my sun in Leo, my mom's moon, my mom's Jupiter, her Pluto, my dad's Pluto. So the sun given away at birth was, that wound was kind of is what we've been trying to keep a secret for a long time up to that point. But Chiron came that day and brought some healing to their Pluto on that day of meeting their firstborn son that was taken away from them by bad will. 9 degree, that's Chiron. Okay, 10 degree Capricorn is the North Node. Close to my nodes. 10 degree Capricorn. North Node. And South Node in Cancer. Close to my South Node by Lux Moon. So, this meaning, it became more of a, eventually becomes the Capricorn somehow, the social structure And the ascendant descendant, what was it? So it must have been around lunchtime when they met. I don't have it exactly here. So if it was around lunchtime, let's put the sun here in Sagittarius, up close to mid-heaven, which the ascendant, except it was in December though, could tweak the sky a little bit, put the ascendant a little bit more askew to the sun at noon in the mid-heaven. Okay, so it was either Pisces ascendant or Aquarius ascendant, even been up to an Aries ascendant. I don't know, I should look it up. Sorry I don't have precision on this fact here, but that was the meeting date. My brother Sylvain was reunited with his own two original parents. So this is my family, this is my story. It's a bit long, but there's a whole lot more people in my family. Probably why I have Jupiter in my 4th house. Where's my 4th house? Jupiter in my 4th house here in my Imam Kuali. My family keeps growing and growing. Anyway, till next video, aloha!